Hi everybody, I'm Lauren, one of Festival's registered dietitians, and it's Monday, so we're busting some myths as part of our weekly Mythbuster segment. So the myth today is that 0 grams of trans fat listed on the food label means that the product does not have any trans fat in the food. And that is a myth. So trans fat is one of those things that we really need to watch in our diet. So the American Heart Association says try to limit trans fat as much as you can. The reason being, trans fat actually increases bad cholesterol or LDL cholesterol, and it decreases our good cholesterol or HDL cholesterol. So it's something we really want to avoid in our diets. So if you're looking on the food label and you see 0 grams of trans fat, there could indeed still be some trans fat on the food label. So according to the FDA, if a product has less than 0.5 grams of trans fat per serving, they can list it as 0 grams of trans fat on the food label. However, there could still be trans fat in there. And the reason we can find this out is by 2 different ways. The first way is simply by looking at the NuVal score. So right on our shelf tags, NuVal is our nutritional scoring system. It scores products from 1 to 100. The higher the score, the better the overall nutrition of the product. You'll see that if we're looking at these crackers here, which are a typical food that can sometimes contain trans fat, along with foods like shelf-stable cookies and other baked goods, you'll see that this variety actually has very low NuVal scores. So they're in the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, and if we're saying 1 to 100, the higher the score, the better nutrition. That's not so good. So we know that compared to a product like Wheat Thins, which gets a NuVal score of 25, that's really a big nutritional difference. The reason being because of that trans fat. So trans fat really lowers the NuVal score, even in very small amounts. So for example, if we're looking at this honey wheat Ritz product, it gets a NuVal score of 4. So what we need to do in the score when we see something like that, a big discrepancy, is look at the nutrition facts panel. We'll see, well, there's 0 grams of trans fat. However, if we scroll down to the ingredient list, we're going to see that there's partially hydrogenated cottonseed oil. So any partially hydrogenated oils in a product is an indicator of trans fat. So that is a source of trans fat in lots of different foods. But again, it can still say 0 grams on the food label. So we know that there's trans fat in there, even though it says 0 grams. So that's how you have to look, is by using the NuVal scores and then looking at the ingredients.